So today we are going to cover the single cell protein, whole microbial cell as protein source. First, the introduction. What is single cell protein? Single cell protein are the dried microbial cells or the total protein extracted from the microorganisms. So the protein can be extracted from the cultured alga, from the yeast, from the bacteria. So a single cell protein may be from the alga, from the yeast, from the bacteria, and it can be consumed in the form of food or it can be utilized as a animal feed. Microorganisms have some obvious advantages over the traditional source of the protein, including the animal and the plants. So microorganisms can grow faster, they can utilize the waste material, agricultural waste residues as a raw and cheap substrate for the fermentation, and they can be grown in a cost effective manner. What are the advantages of using the microorganisms as a single cell protein? They have high protein content, they can grow very fast, and it does not depends upon the climatic conditions. So irrespective to the weather conditions, you can see the plants are generally seasonal. In a particular season we can take a particular crop, but this is not the true in case of the microorganisms. In the large fermenters, whether it is a summer, winters, irrespective to the weather conditions, we can grow, we can culture the microorganisms, and we can harvest them, and we can extract the protein when it is required. Quality and quantity is better as comparison to higher plants and animals, high nutritive value, and the raw material can be utilized, so it can be a cost effective manner of producing the protein in a simple way. Culture fermentation conditions are simple for some microorganisms, so the simple requirement based microorganism can be selected. Microorganisms can be genetically manipulated, and the results can come in less time as comparison to plants and animals. Possibility of using non-human food as substrate for single cell protein production. So the food that is generally not considered for the humans, or if it is waste, that it can be utilized as a raw substrate to culture the microorganisms. And we can produce both food grade and the feed grade single cell protein. Nutritional values. So it depends upon the microorganism, vary from microorganism to microorganisms, and it depends also on to the microbial strain, the type of protein, amino acid, vitamins, and mineral contents of the microorganisms. To some extent, it also depends upon the conditions used for the growth of microorganism, and it is it has been found that some of the bacterial and yeast derived single cell protein, they are deficient in the methionine, but the single cell protein can be supplemented with the deficient amino acid, and it can be supplemented. So nutritional deficiency, if some microorganism is not producing any specific amino acid, and if it is required for the human or for that animal feed, then it can be supplemented. So supplementation is better. What substrates can be used and which microorganisms can be used for single cell protein production? Substrates, it may be hydrocarbon. Among the hydrocarbons, maybe gaseous hydrocarbons. Methane is the common gaseous hydrocarbon. It is cheap and easily available. The liquid hydrocarbons, the crude petroleum, that is waste crude petroleum from the petroleum refineries. Alcohols, in alcohols we can utilize methanol and ethanol. And waste products, which are the main targets for the single cell protein production, include the plant or wood waste, agricultural waste, starch waste from the potato industry, sugarcane industry, waste from the chemical industries, generally from the fertilizer industries, and waste from the dairy industries. And particularly it is a whey that is rich in the protein, and generally it is considered useless and discarded, so it can be utilized as a raw substrate for the growth of microorganism, and these microorganisms can be utilized as single cell protein. So what criteria should be there? How we can select a microbial strain that this microorganism is suitable to be used as a single cell protein? First, there should not be any pathogenicity, any toxicity. The microorganism we are selecting, it should not be pathogenic, it should not be able to produce any toxic under any circumstances. So if the microorganism is not pathogenic and it's not producing the carcinogenic molecules, not toxic substances, that it can be considered primarily for the single cell protein. It can be consumed it can be used as animal feed. Second, the protein quality, it should be better, the protein amount should be high, it should be easily digestible, and there should not be any adverse smell, foul smell, acceptable taste and aroma should be there. And important other parameter is the growth rate. So microorganisms should be able to grow in a cheap, easily available medium or the substrate. And also, when we go for the fermentation, microorganisms should be able to adapt to the unusual environmental conditions. So these are some common examples of raw materials that can be used for the single cell protein production. The most important is molasses, that is easily available. It is a waste material that can be obtained from the sugar industries, sulfite liquor from the pulp industry, acid hydrolyzate of the wood, fruit waste, citrus peel waste generally discarded, alkanes, methanol, ethanol and methanes. These are some microorganisms, and basically these are Aeromonas, Lactobacillus, Methylomonas, Pseudomonas fluorescens. In among the fungi, maybe Aspergillus fumigatus, Nigers, Penicillium, yeast, Candida utilis, Novalis, Alga chlorella, Spirulina. Spirulina, I think you are familiar, is the among the common single cell protein we are familiar in the market. So you can write down from this slide the name of microorganism and in particular the substrate that can be utilized for their growth. Gaseous hydrocarbons, liquid hydrocarbons, please note down. Okay, fine. The waste material and the respective microorganism then that can utilize the waste material. So these are the some SCP processes used by the different companies. Feed grade, it is produced by British Petroleum. The plant is situated in the United Kingdom. The substrate was N-paraffin and the organism was yeast. So you can see from this table that most of the organizations are the petroleum or the lubricant based industries, so they can utilize their waste petroleum hydrocarbons for the growth of microorganisms, and the microorganisms they can be utilized as single cell protein, maybe for the animal feed, and in some cases they can be considered for the human food purpose. So these companies are Shell, Mitsubishi, Dai Nippon, Chinese Petroleum, Amoco and Dai Nippon, and in most of the cases they have utilized the petroleum based byproducts, methane, methanol and paraffin, ethanol, and the Dai Nippon has also worked on to the molasses using the yeast culture. One of the major drawback of single cell protein that the microorganisms contain a high amount of the nucleic acids, and it is generally RNA, DNA. So if the microorganism growing faster, if it is actively metabolizing, then definitely there will be high amount of the RNA also. So this RNA, this nucleic acid may create the problem, may hinder the digestibility, and the proportion of nucleic acid in total cell content, molds may have 2.5 to 6% nucleic acid, alga may have 4 to 6%, yeast may have 6 to 11%, and bacteria up to 16%. So the high nucleic acid diet, uric acid deposits can occur into the tissues and they can damage the kidneys and the joints as well. So what is the solution? Nucleic acids can be removed. Yes, they can be removed by controlling the growth and cell physiology of the microorganisms. So by controlling some parameters, we can control the nucleic acid production by the microorganisms. Second, we can extract the nucleic acids with the help of the chemicals before using it for the animal feed or for the human food, and we can use the pancreatic juice, and we can use the endogenous RNAs. So there are some other factors that impair the usefulness of the single cell protein. First, non-digestible cell wall, mainly in case of the alga. High nucleic acid content of the microorganisms. In some cases the color is not acceptable and the flavor is also not good. The disagreeable flavor part in the alga and the yeast, sometimes the smell is not good, and if the consumer or even the animal can deny to consume it, and the cell should be killed before the consumption. We should ensure that every cell we are consuming is dried and it is killed, so there should not be any sort of the living cell that we are going to consume for the purpose of single cell protein. Thank you very much. In case of any doubt, please